figure out how to narrow down how the delta gammas have helped us. I think the real beauty of this building is everything was intentional. Not only does the foundation support us, but as you walk through the building and see the names on the walls, so many of those are here because of their delta gamma connection. And when you go into the light room and they all of a sudden start reacting and seeing things, it's just such a sense of hope for these families.
About 2 months after we were attending Anchor Center, we were in the light room. Ellie was laying there and it was sort of moving the doll around, and all of a sudden her eyes, which just tended to float around in her head, stopped moving, and they looked at this doll. And I was like, oh my God, she's seeing that doll. Mom, she's seeing that doll. My mom was with me and we both just stopped because we couldn't believe what was happening. In hearing my voice and my excitement, she stopped looking at the doll, looked at me. So she saw me for the first time. That was a miracle.
You hear people say hope and magic, and that's just absolutely true. It just, the seeds of hope are just planted at an early age here.
I pray for them every night because they held my baby and loved her when she was just an infant, and there were people in the community who were afraid to look at her because her eyes looked so strange, and they would stare, you know, and these women, it didn't matter. They just saw her as a beautiful little girl.
And if we can even make that even a little bit better, yeah, then we've done everything, haven't we?
This year, in recognition of our armed forces and their sacrifices, the Fraternity and Foundation introduced the Service for Sight Joining Forces program. Almost 20% of the injuries incurred in Iraq or Afghanistan have resulted in eye damage and blindness. This compelling program is intended to unite our membership as we further enhance our philanthropy. Our collegiate and alumni chapters volunteer with organizations such as Wounded Warriors, VA hospitals, campus ROTCs, and the United States Association of Blind Athletes. Fundraising for this program will result in grants to organizations which share this mission through the Foundation's Service for Sight Grants program.
I stepped on a secondary device that was probably within 10 meters of the original blast seat. I did look down and I saw that I had both my legs, both my arms, and kind of right off the bat was very optimistic, and I was able to actually walk away from the blast site. You know, they made the determination that it's impossible for me to see. So, you know, with that moving forward, it was actually, there's some degree of comfort in that because it's a very definitive answer. You know? Watching me walk to the helicopter that took me away was a big moral victory for them, and they were able to go out and continue fighting that next day because they knew I was going to be all right. Blindness is not going to be an impairment to me. Swimming is a welcome reprieve from a world where I don't know where I'm at and is harder to understand. So the most picturesque moments of swimming history is Phelps hitting the wall and winning his 19th gold medal and just going nuts and slapping the water. Blind guys do not have that luxury. We hit the wall and you can't turn and look at the giant LCD plasma screen where your face is up there. You just sit there and you just look at the wall. And just I'm really glad to be alive. And what better way to celebrate that fact than to be in a foreign country, representing my country, winning a gold medal and being there with my family. There's no better way in my eyes to celebrate that moment. The medal was for Mom. The medal was to say thank you.
What I really took away from this last one was the courage to lead these women, because as a 21-year-old with 125 members who are your age, it's really not that easy. What made me go DG during recruitment was the people, the women in the chapter. And what made me stay was really what we do, the values of DG. It's the things that we focus on that make Delta Gamma Delta Gamma. It's like why we've been here since the 1800s, those rituals that our founders came up with. It's that connection. If I can get just one person in the room to get it, then I've accomplished something. I think it's cool that Anchor Splash is national. It's all Delta Gamma. Every Delta Gammas do some type of Anchor Splash. I don't know of any other sorority or fraternity that has something quite like it.
My favorite is probably synchronized swimming, just because boys attempting to dance is hilarious. Spotted DG Day, so for one of the events for Anchor Splash, they get 25 points for each DG that they spot.
2 points for you guys. Awesome.
They've been getting points all week from going to banner making, Spotted DG, going to the ice cream social, by winning the relays, by winning synchronized swimming event, by winning Mr. and Mrs. Anchor Splash, which is just like a runway type thing, so whoever's like the funniest or whatever, they get points and they win for that. Everyone has the same goal in mind because they just want to help these people for Service for Sight, and it's touching, really. It's definitely like opened my eyes to show me that how one person's impact can impact so many lives.